After the credits rolled on Octopath Traveler, I took a 15-minute break before I sat back down, grabbed my controller, and went back to my save file to play more. This, in spite of the fact I'd played 53 hours on my journey to complete the path of Therion, the thief whose story I'd chosen at the beginning. Going in, I'd expected little more than a charming but run-of-the-mill homage to the 16-bit RPGs I grew up playing. Instead, Octopath Traveler treated me to a stunning, tilt-shifted art style and a deep battle system that made every encounter an exercise in thoughtful strategizing. At first blush, Octopath Traveler is a sprite-based game that looks like it'd be at home in a Super NES Final Fantasy. Characters are 2D, but they move and explore in a 3D world painted with 16-bit textures, with the exception of realistic sand, snow, and water. That lends it a delightful old-school charm while giving it a modern flavor. And everything in the world feels alive with subtle movement. Perhaps the most gorgeous locations are the deserts, beaches, and snow-capped mountain areas. Lighting effects make the world even more dreamlike, adding another layer of beauty to an already gorgeous world. The 8 different tales told in Octopath Traveler aren't particularly original, but they do manage a few dramatic surprises and are both well-written and voice-acted in English and Japanese.
Partners in crime, huh?
It's a little odd that they're only tangentially connected, though. There's no absolute evil or weapon they're all fighting in different ways, no world-ending calamity to unite against. Progression in one has no bearing on the others, so switching between them isn't a requirement, but I found myself doing it anyway, even while I focused on Therion's storyline up to its satisfying ending. If I had not been so inclined, I could have completely skipped over the tale of Primrose the Dancer, or Ulbrich the Knight. But of course I went and finished Ulbrich's story too, and found it just as good, if not as deep. The battle system is one of my favorite parts of Octopath Traveler because of how it shakes up the traditional turn-based or ATB combat we know from the 16-bit era. I love how it changes the RPG rock, paper, scissors trope of elemental weakness and expands it into a system that requires experimentation, timing, and skill. There's a fantastic layer of strategy to battles that gives value to even the lowliest attack. When's the last time you used a staff in a JRPG for any reason other than you ran out of magic points? Octopath Traveler gives you a reason. It might only inflict a few points of damage, but if it breaks an enemy's defense by exploiting a hidden weakness and leaves them vulnerable, it's a totally worthwhile way to spend a turn. Each encounter required me to stop and think about the best approach. Do I spend my accrued BP and swing my axe 3 times to break the enemy's defense? Or do I hold off and maximize my next attack and try to break defense with other methods? On top of that, the host of different abilities and class-specific skills gave me so much room to experiment and crack the code of each battle, I felt a real sense of accomplishment when I discovered new methods of attack. But just when I thought I'd figured it out, Octopath Traveler added a whole new layer to battles with a job system. Suddenly, characters who only fought with daggers could strike all enemies with a sword attack, and purely physical characters could cast spells, shattering the defenses of hapless foes. These dramatically increase the possible combinations, and there are plenty I haven't even unlocked yet. They're still sitting in shrines, guarded by insanely powerful bosses. Even after 53 hours of play, I'm still not strong enough to defeat them. I've tried many times, and I expect I'll keep trying for a long while. Octopath Traveler is a JRPG dream come true. Both its battle system and aesthetics pay loving tribute to the Super NES era while moving the formula forward in exciting and novel ways. This isn't merely a modern retread of past classics, but a phenomenal homage with genuinely fresh ideas in a fantastically charming wrapper of old school meets new. While the 8 different character stories could have used a little more connection between them to make it all fit together, I'm looking forward to going back to complete all 8, explore the many side areas, battle optional bosses, and unlock the final job classes. For more on Octopath Traveler, check out the first 24 minutes of gameplay. Then look over our list of the top 25 Switch games and the top 10 RPGs of all time. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
商人だからって甘く見たでしょ。